Morning, everybody. So this microphone's been causing trouble, hasn't it? Can you hear me okay? Is that okay? So guys over there, you didn't get to introduce yourselves. I'm definitely picking on you specifically. Is that okay? Perfect. Okay. Before I start, I want to introduce my guest this morning, Rakila Reynolds over here from Rakila Does Film. She is the most amazing videographer that I have ever come across. She's recording my presentation today, so she's actually recording my introduction of her, which is fabulous. And she's recording the bit where I explained that as well. I mean, it just gets better and better. Rakila covers the Tallahassee market. If you know folks who need videography services, she is absolutely the person to go to. Please talk with her afterwards. So thank you, Rakila, for coming today. So I am going to tell you a fairy story today. Has anybody heard of Jack and the Beanstalk? Anybody heard of Jack and the Beanstalk? Okay, table over here. He. What happens in Jack and the Beanstalk? Who wants to tell me? How does it start?
Jack's family was very
poor. Jack's family was very poor. He got some beans. What happened with those beans? What did the beans do, guys? He grew them into what? A beanstalk. The clue's in the name. This isn't complicated. So, okay, what happens next? He goes up the beanstalk, and what does he find up the beanstalk? He finds a castle with a giant in it. Okay, that's right. And what does he do in this castle? What else does he find in the castle? He finds lots of golden eggs. That's right, but he also finds something else.
They can't hear you back there.
You can't hear me back. Oh, okay.
He said Brett Wellman nailed it when he put it to his chin. Because Brett's a professional.
Yeah, I don't want to catch what Brett's got. So, okay, he finds a golden eggs, but what else does he find? He finds a ratty old goose, is what he finds. As well as all the golden harp, there's all this golden stuff everywhere. So what does he decide to do? Now, I don't recommend this about being a thief and stealing stuff. This is not the moral of the story. But what does Jack then do? He steals, of all this gold, what does he steal? The ratty old goose. Incredible. Why would you do that? Well, there is a very good reason, because Jack knew something that we actually probably all already know, which is the goose does something special. What does the goose do? Right! The goose lays all those golden eggs that Jack had seen lying around this castle. So apart from the ethically grey business about stealing stuff, Jack is very smart. He doesn't go and stuff his pockets with gold. He takes the thing that creates the gold. Does that make sense? Now, this fairy tale is not true, by the way. It's not a thing, but it does remind me about the way that BNI works. So what I want to do this morning is kind of show a little exercise. And Julian, is he around? Oh, okay. We got it. I'm going to do a little exercise to show you how that works and how BNI is the goose that lays the golden eggs. So feel free to do this exercise for your own business. I'm going to choose a not so random category, and we're going to use that as an example, but please do this for your own business. And if you've got guests who said they were coming today and didn't show up, that's not a thing, right? That doesn't happen in BNI. If you've got guests that didn't show up, by all means tell them about this and get them to do it for their business as well. There's nothing that kind of demonstrates how BNI works better than this. So, we've got 3 questions I want to ask you. And we're going to use the example here. So, get rid of that. So, first of all, I'm going to pick a category, a business type. And I'm going to go with photographer. And we've got some photographers in the room today. You want to wave your hands if you're a photographer? Oh, wow, both on the same table. Ooh. Okay, so I'm going to write this up here. Photographer. So now the next question is, what kind of customer is a photographer looking for? Well, I guess the photographers know. The answer is more than one. But what kind of customer? Well, I'm going to go ahead and pick a bride. I think that photographers love to get in front of brides because brides, well, they spend a lot of money with photographers, right? Actually, the father of the bride is probably the real customer. But okay, so bride. Now, the third question, and here's the key one. What other types of businesses are also trying to get in front of the bride? Right? So, I'm going to write a big circle here, and this is the interactive portion of the meeting where you get to shout out and tell me what other categories or types of businesses are trying to get in front of the bride. All right, one at a time. Florist, yes, florist. Makeup artist. Ooh, I like that one.
I'm trying to decide.
It's got legs. Makeup artist. Who?
The wedding dressmaker.
Wedding dressmaker. Oh, very good. Wedding dressmaker. I'm not writing real words here, but yes, keep them coming. Caterer. Nice and loud, everybody. Caterer. Jeweler. Travel agent. Honeymoon. Yes. DJ entertainment. Yes. Wedding planner? Yeah, sure, absolutely. Why not? What about an insurance company? Anybody in insurance here today? Yeah, I bet there are. Time for a transitional discussion, I think. Limo? Yeah, limo. Hairdressers? Do you think hairdressers like brides? Yes, I think they do. Who said landscaper? I mean, I guess. Okay, landscaper. Jim, I like it. Because each one's going to send the other one. Okay, any more? Video. Yes, Rakita, video. Financial planner. Yeah, realtor. They're growing family, right? Need a new house. Absolutely. Realtor. Come on. What? Travel planner. Well, we're going to lump that in with travel agent, if that's okay. What was that? Counselor. Yeah, divorce attorney, right? Okay, I think that'll do. I think we can all agree there are a large number of other types of businesses that are also trying to get in front of the bride, or the bride's father, or the bride's mother, or whoever's paying for the wedding. So, wouldn't it make sense for this photographer to go ahead and develop a strong relationship with each of these different types of companies? If the photographer sat down with this is where I wish I could read my writing, with the travel agent, they could strategize. If they got a relationship together, going from knowing them to liking to trusting, they can strategize and they could pass business to each other. Certainly the photographer could pass business to the bride. Look at that, what a huge amount of potential business that this photographer can pass. But wait, there's more. Because if I rip this off, ta-da, thank you very much. So the photographers will tell you this. A bride isn't the only type of customer that a photographer's looking for, right? There are others. And you don't need to be a photographer to shout out the answers to this one. What kind of other customers do you think that a photographer's looking for? Seniors, high school seniors, yes. Realtors, who said real? Yeah, no, you're right, you're exactly right. Realtors, photographers, come on, I can't hear you. Moms. Websites. All right, each one of these little circles will have their own range of potential businesses that they can connect with, because who's trying to get in front of A high school student is not the same kind of business as trying to get in front of a bride. So this is exponential. The photographer can look at different customers they've got and make more connections with more individuals. It goes on and on and on. It's incredible. We can do this in our BNI chapters. BNI is predicated on the concept of relationships, on driving business to your bottom line through a small number of very strong connections, not a large number of hardly at all connections. Through a BNI chapter, that photographer can go ahead and find those connections, either because they're members in the chapter, where they're incentivized and encouraged to develop relationships, or they can be introduced to them through the members of the chapter. Sitting down and developing these relationships on a one-to-one basis, which we also do through BNI, will start to create the trusting relationships that we need to make those connections to start driving revenue to our businesses. And what's really exciting about this is that it can go on and on and on. It reminds me very much of, it's like hunting versus farming, that old sales training thing where, you know, where the hunter goes out and the hunter is the salesman. You go out and you make your kill. You're trying to make sales, and you go out and you sell your product and you get paid for it, and you go and you go and you go. At the end of the month, you get your paycheck and your targets go all the way back to zero. Boom, 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 all the way back to zero, and you start the next month at zero and you go and you start selling again. Anybody in that situation at work with sales? It's kind of pretty common, and it can get a bit frustrating, particularly if you had a good month or you did a bit of, you know, salting stuff away. So that is very linear. Very linear. You are simply getting rewarded for the activities that you do on a daily basis. Working on a residual income, getting money for not having done anything, ask the insurance people about residual income, by the way. That's very much more like farming, where you go out, you've got your field, you're laying the seeds, you're doing all of that stuff, and nothing happens. Some of it falls on stony ground, some of it falls, you know, the birds pick it, but nothing happens immediately. But over time, if the sun comes out, if you water that field, those crops are going to grow. And the hunter is out every couple of days killing another woolly mammoth to feed the family. The guy who's put the seeds down is feeding his village for a year. In BNI, we are putting down those seeds. We are developing relationships, and they don't happen overnight. It takes time to do this. But through those relationships, more relationships form. And over time, more and more revenue starts getting driven to your business. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. You could probably tell I'm not from Florida with my accent. There's a chapter that I used to visit a lot called BNI Trustville, if anybody knows Trustville, Alabama. There are many, many members in that chapter, and I'm sure there's some in the room today, who get all of their business through BNI. Because they've been in BNI long enough, they've developed enough relationships, people are referring back to them, that it just becomes an ongoing income stream. And they've done this, of course, as Karen has said earlier, through giver's gain, that core value, giving first. So please let the folks know that didn't come today. Do this at home with your own business. Sit down, write your company at the top, write one of your, perhaps the most important, customer type, and start identifying all the different types of other businesses that you can go to, not necessarily through BNI. You can just go and do it. You don't need to be in BNI to do any of this stuff. It's just easier. Go out and make that list and start making those connections. And if you haven't visited a BNI chapter, ask the person that invited you here today to take you to their chapter, where you can start the process of meeting the kind of people that you can develop relationships with, which will drive revenues to your business. I know we're tight on time, so thank you very much, Karen, for allowing me to talk today. I hope that helped. I hope that kind of made a bit of sense. Thank you for allowing me to come today.